big. They believed that one day, they'd rise above the poverty around them. But after graduation, reality hit hard. There were no jobs, no powerful uncles, no connections, just the two of them, and a city full of struggle. Ogaga, determined not to sit idle, got a job as a basic science teacher in a small private school, earning just 30,000 naira every month, barely enough to survive. Efe, proud and hard-working, learned how to braid hair and got a job as a hairdresser in a small, corner salon. The money wasn't much either, but she smiled through it, because she had Ogaga. Their love was simple. Real. Unbreakable, or so they thought. At night, after their long days, they would sit outside on white plastic chairs, sipping pure water and watching the stars. That was their favorite part of the day. Just the two of them, hand in hand, talking about their future like it was already waiting for them. "Baby, one day, we go Japa," Ogaga would whisper. Efe would smile and reply, "Anywhere you go, I go follow you. You be my home." But life was not smiling at them. Bills were piling up. Parents were asking questions. People started saying, "Love no day feed person." They tried to stay strong, but deep down, they were both wondering, how long can love alone keep us going? And just when it felt like nothing was changing, something happened that turned their world upside down. Then, one fateful Thursday afternoon, everything changed. The sun was hot. The salon fan was spinning slowly, buzzing over Efe's head as she braided a customer's hair. Suddenly, the door burst open. Ogaga ran in like a madman. His eyes were red, not from pain, but from joy. He shouted at the top of his lungs. "Baby! I don't get I don't get the visa. UK for masters." For a few seconds, the whole salon went silent. Even the clippers stopped buzzing. Efe dropped her comb and stared at him. "You dey serious?" she whispered, standing up slowly like someone in a dream. Ogaga ran to her, lifted her off the ground, and spun her around. They laughed. They cried. They screamed. They danced right there in the salon, surrounded by confused customers and surprised stylists. But they didn't care. Because for the first time in years, a door had opened. That same week, they didn't wait. No delay. No big ceremony. No asoabi or wedding planner. They went straight to the registry. Efe wore a simple white blouse. Ogaga wore a borrowed shirt and his old black trousers. But the love in their eyes? Priceless. They stood in front of the marriage officer, holding hands like two children holding on to hope. When they said, "I do," their hearts whispered, "Forever." They sealed it with a kiss, not just of romance, but of survival. Two Warri kids. No silver spoon. No connections. But they had faith. They believed that love, no matter how small, could still open big doors. But oh, what they didn't know was that the real test of their love was waiting, across the ocean. A test that would shake everything they believed. Weeks later, they arrived in the UK. It was nothing like Warri. The sky was always grey. The air was cold and dry. Even the sun felt like it was shy. People didn't smile randomly. The streets were quiet. The accent was hard to understand. Efe shivered the first time the wind slapped her face. She whispered, "Na cold be this? Abi na punishment?" But Ogaga just held her close and said, "Na sacrifice, baby. We go adapt." Ogaga started his master's program the very next week. The lectures were tough. The reading was plenty. And the deadlines came fast like thunder. But he pushed himself. Because he knew, this was the dream they prayed for. Yet, there was a problem. Student visa rules only allowed him to work 20 hours a week. No extra shifts. No side hustle. Just 20. So, he searched desperately, and finally got a night shift gate man job at a packaging factory in Essex. The uniform was heavy. The boots were too big. And the night was long and cold. Sometimes, rats ran across the gate floor. Sometimes, he slept standing. But he never complained. "Nah, still hustle," he would tell F with a tired smile. Meanwhile, F stayed home searching the internet all day for jobs she could do. And one lucky morning, she found one. A remote customer service job for a small company in Birmingham. She applied with her shaky English and prayed. 2 days later, they called her. She got it. Her salary? £2,000 monthly. More than Ogaga could make in 3 months. She screamed. She danced in the small kitchen. Ogaga came back from night duty, and she jumped on him like a child. "We go make am. We go make am," she cried. From that day, their roles quietly shifted. Ogaga would come home by 6 a.m., tired, cold, smelling like factory chemicals. F would be up already, sitting at the small desk in their living room, talking to customers in America, wearing a headset and sipping hot chocolate. She began to dress better. Ordered wigs from Amazon. Bought new clothes. Even changed her accent small. At first, Ogaga was happy. My baby day shine. But soon, the small things started to feel big. Sometimes she'd fall asleep before he got home. Sometimes she forgot to cook. Sometimes, she sighed loudly when he asked for help with his assignments. But he didn't complain. He reminded himself, it's still love. But what he didn't know was, life in the UK was about to test their marriage in a way he never expected. And one decision, one moment, would change everything. But with more pounds, came more pride. At first, it was small. F started buying human hair bundles, £200, £300, sometimes more. Then came the designer bags, perfume from Paris, and shoes that cost more than Ogaga's monthly pay. Ogaga didn't complain. He thought maybe she was just trying to look good. But soon, he noticed, something was changing. F stopped giving him money. Whenever he asked for help with his schoolwork, printing, projects, even small textbooks, she would sigh and say, "Money no day, Ogaga. Try understand." But the next day? Her nails were fresh. Her wig was brand new. And her bag? Chanel. Ogaga would come home from class, tired. Then head to his night shift as a gate man. Then return home again in the cold morning to meet an empty kitchen. No food. No hello. Just silence. He began doing everything. Sweeping. Cooking. Washing her clothes. Ironing. Just to keep the peace. Just to earn her love. One night, he sat beside her while she scrolled on her iPhone. His voice was shaking. "F, you be my wife. If you no support me, who go support me? I day try, but I need you." F looked up slowly. She rolled her eyes. "You be man. Nah, you suppose carry this house. Nah, me go do everything now?" Ogaga blinked, silent. Another night came. He struggled to prepare a goosey soup with the last few ingredients he could find in the kitchen. It wasn't perfect. But it was something. He served it with a smile. F looked at the plate. Sniffed it. Then suddenly, "What is this rubbish?" she shouted. Before Ogaga could say a word, she grabbed the plate and flung it at him. Hot soup splashed on his shirt. The plate crashed to the ground. Ogaga stood frozen. Then she screamed again. "With all the money I give you, nah, this nonsense you cook. Do you know how expensive African food is in this country? You that can't even bring £1 home?" He tried to clean the floor. She stood above him and shouted, "Who is your servant? Clean it. Are you waiting for me to do it too?" He grabbed the mop, kneeling like a boy, wiping the food she threw. That night, he sat in the bathroom for over an hour. No tears came out. Just silence. He stared at his face in the mirror and whispered to himself. Is this the same girl I married? She started coming home late. Sometimes smelling of perfume that wasn't hers. Sometimes with food she didn't share. Ogaga would pretend not to notice. Pretend not to smell the cologne on her clothes. Pretend not to hear her fake laugh on the phone with someone else. Because deep inside, he was still hoping. Still praying. Still holding on to the memory of that girl who once danced with him in a tiny salon in Warri. The girl who once cried when he got his visa. But the F that now lived with him? That girl was gone. And Ogaga? He had become a ghost in his own marriage. But what he didn't know was that F was hiding a secret. A secret that would break what little was left of his heart. F still worked from home, customer service on her headset, smiling at strangers across the globe. To Ogaga, nothing looked strange. She still sat on her usual corner seat, laptop open, coffee steaming beside her, typing away. But what he didn't know was that her heart was already miles away. Behind her job screen, she was living a double life. Her lunch breaks. Secret video calls with Kelvin, a man she met on a travel forum. Her late-night customer complaints. Romantic texts to a man planning to marry her. And the ring? She never removed it. Even when she whispered, "I love you," to Kelvin. Ogaga's ring still sat on her finger. Every day, Ogaga left for school. Then off to his security job. Then back home with tired eyes and aching legs. And every evening, F greeted him with cold silence, sometimes fake smiles. But never the truth. She had gone too far to turn back now. What Ogaga never knew was, F had secretly printed wedding invitations. To marry Kelvin, in Spain. She planned it all quietly, while sitting just 10 feet from him on their couch. Flights booked. Dress shipped to a friend's house. Kelvin believing she was single and free. The plan was simple. She would tell Ogaga she had a weekend training in Manchester. Fly out. Get married. Start a new life with Kelvin. Leave the past behind like an old rapper. But what she didn't plan for was karma. The morning of her flight, she wore a fake smile. Packed her suitcase while Ogaga was still asleep. She left quietly, whispering, "I'll be back Sunday." But less than 4 hours later, her world fell apart. At Heathrow Airport, just as she approached the boarding gate, immigration stopped her. Her passport flagged red. 2 different visa applications under 2 different men. One, her legal husband, Ogaga. The other, a man she promised to marry in Spain, Kelvin. They pulled her aside. Questioned her. Searched her bag. In her purse? A printed copy of her wedding invitation. That was all the proof they needed. F was detained. No wedding. No Spain. No Kelvin. Just a cold room, white walls, and an officer who said, "You've committed visa fraud. This is very serious." F sat on a cold metal chair, her hands trembling in her lap. The room was quiet. Too quiet. Just 4 walls, painted white but somehow feeling gray. A long fluorescent light buzzed overhead. An immigration officer sat across from her, flipping through documents, her documents. Her UK passport. Her marriage certificate to Ogaga. And then, the wedding invitation to Kelvin. Printed in full color. Gold embossed. Still warm from the printer. The officer looked up slowly. "Miss, or should I say, Mrs. Ogaga?" F opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. 2 visa sponsorships. 2 men. 1 legal husband. 1 upcoming wedding in Spain. Are you aware this qualifies as immigration fraud under UK law? Tears pooled in her eyes. She whispered, "It was just. I just wanted more." The officer didn't blink. "We've seen your bank transfers. Your WhatsApp messages. The ring you're still wearing." He leaned back in his chair. "You're not leaving for Spain. Not today. Not ever." They cuffed her. Right there. In the same airport she once dreamed of flying from, to freedom, to love, to a new life. Now, her new life had just begun. Inside a detention center. It was evening. The sun had just gone down, and the streetlights outside flickered on one by one. Inside a small apartment in East London, Ogaga stood by the ironing board, slowly pressing his security guard uniform. The fabric was stiff, the iron hissed, and his thoughts were far away, mostly on F. She had said she was going for training in Manchester. She'd even texted that afternoon. "I miss you already," she had written. "Just 2 days and I'll be back, my love." Then came 3 sharp knocks on the door. Knock. 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 Ogaga opened the door slowly, and there they stood. 2 officers in full immigration uniform, holding a plain brown file between them. Their faces were heavy. No smiles. No movement. "Mr. Ogaga Idigo?" one of them asked. He nodded cautiously, still holding the iron. "Yes. I'm Ogaga. We're from Immigration Enforcement. We regret to inform you that your wife, F. Idigo, has been detained at Heathrow Airport." Ogaga let out a small chuckle. A dry, confused laugh. "Wait, what kind of prank is this? F no even day travel anywhere. She tell me say not training she day go for Manchester." But they didn't laugh with him. The taller officer opened the file and carefully held out a gold-trimmed wedding invitation. Ogaga's eyes landed on the words like a punch in the chest. His wife's name. Another man's name. Kelvin Odom. Venue, Barcelona, Spain. Date, this weekend. The lettering was beautiful. The message was heartbreaking. "Is this her handwriting?" the officer asked quietly. Ogaga stepped back like the ground beneath him had just split. He leaned on the wall behind him for balance, but his hand missed the edge. The iron slipped from his grip. It hit the floor with a loud clatter, spilling water and hissing steam as it rolled. His breathing grew heavy. His mouth was open but no words came out. Just pain. Just disbelief. "No. No. Not F. Not my F," he whispered, shaking his head like a child refusing a bitter truth. "My Warri girl, my promise, my future." The officers exchanged a glance, that look people give when they've seen too much heartbreak to be surprised anymore. Ogaga slumped to the floor, holding the wedding invite in his trembling hands like it was a knife. His voice cracked. "So now like this, she use me shine? After everything?" No one answered. Silence filled the room. Except for the hiss of the iron cooling on the tiles. The officer closed the file slowly, like a final chapter being sealed shut. "She has been charged with visa fraud," he said quietly, as if lowering his voice could make the blow softer. "She is facing up to 5 years in detention, followed by deportation. We'll update you as the case progresses, Mr. Idigo." The words hung in the air like smoke from a house on fire. Ogaga didn't move. He just sat there on the cold tiled floor. His hands resting on his knees. The invitation still clutched in one hand. His eyes were blank, not crying, not blinking, just empty. The room fell quiet. Not a sound from the officers. Not a sound from the street outside. Not even the iron, which had now gone cold. Because something else had gone cold too. Ogaga's heart. His mind raced, but his body refused to move. This woman. The same F he met in Warri when neither of them had shoes that matched. The girl who said, "I'll suffer with you, Ogaga. Even if na Gary we day drink." He remembered her face when they moved into that small flat in London. He had carried her on his back up the stairs, both of them laughing. They didn't have much. But they had each other. Now she was facing prison for using him as a stepping stone. Pretending to be his wife, just to get her visa. All so she could go and marry another man, in Spain. He slowly looked up at the officers and gave a weak nod. "Thank you," he murmured. They took the cue. One of them left a card on the small glass table and nodded politely. "If you need anything, even someone to talk to, don't hesitate." Then the door closed. And Ogaga was alone. Totally, painfully, alone. He leaned back against the wall. His shoulders heavy. His soul heavier. The dreams they built together. The late-night bus rides. The prayers. The nights he came back from 2 jobs with aching legs and no dinner, just to buy her hair cream or send her to school. And now this? He whispered, barely able to breathe. "She left me, for Chanel and Spain." The ironed uniform lay forgotten. His shift was in 20 minutes, but what was the point? He had already lost the one thing he was working for. And for the first time since coming to the UK, Ogaga felt like a stranger in his own life. Days turned to weeks. F sat in her detention cell, staring at the grey walls. Her wig was gone. Her nails chipped. Her fake accent faded into silence. Every day was the same. Metal tray meals. Interrogations. Echoes of crying women. She shared a bunk with a woman from Romania who'd been caught with a fake marriage certificate. Another bunkmate had been waiting for deportation for 2 years. The irony? They all had love stories too. And just like F, they all thought they were special, until the system showed them otherwise. F wrote letters to Ogaga. Begging. Pleading. Promising. "I was confused. I was stupid. Please forgive me." But Ogaga never wrote back. Because Ogaga was healing. Ogaga cried only once, the day he packed her clothes into a box and walked it to the donation bin. After that, he focused. He finished his master's program with distinction. He applied for jobs all across the UK, and finally landed one at a research firm that valued immigrant brilliance. The day he received his employment letter, he stood at the bus stop, eyes closed, and whispered, "Thank you, God. For pain, and for peace." Through a friend at school, he met Layla, a kind-hearted British Nigerian woman who volunteered at refugee shelters. They started with long conversations. Then coffee. Then walks in the park. Layla didn't ask him for pounds. She asked about his dreams. She didn't roll her eyes. She listened. When she met his pain, she didn't run. She prayed. Months passed. Ogaga found himself smiling again, a real smile. He proposed under a cherry blossom tree in spring. She said yes, holding his hand like it was the last one she'd ever need. They married simply, just like before. But this time, there was peace. There was truth. There was no secret Spain. 2 years after her arrest, F was deported. The plane landed in Lagos under the same hot sun that once shone on her love story. She stepped out of Murtala Muhammad Airport with nothing but a black backpack and a heart full of regret. No Kelvin. No husband. No job. Just whispers. People from her old neighborhood in Warri said, "Na so marriage take end? Pounds blind her eye. She see better man throw am." She tried to reach Ogaga once. A long, desperate message. "Please, can we just talk?" But Ogaga never replied. He was busy tucking his newborn daughter into bed. Her name? F. Layla Ogaga Idago. Because he forgave. But he also moved on. So before you pack your bags, before you dream of visas and vows abroad, ask yourself, is it really love you're carrying? Or just ambition wearing a wedding ring? Because no country, no pounds, no new life can fix what's broken within. Love doesn't survive by relocation. It survives by sacrifice and truth. This was once a love story, but it became a lesson. May you learn, before the cold wind of a new land teaches you. Hope you enjoyed the story. Like the video, subscribe and turn all notifications so you will be notified for more interesting stories. Stay blessed and see you in my next video.